Hello, I hope you're keeping really well. Today I'm going to show you a softer eyeliner alternative that you can do with eyeshadow. So I'm going to start by getting my base on, which is some Illuminating CC cream, which is nearing the end of its life. And then we'll get stuck into our eyes. So what I've been doing, which has been really helpful, is just having a chat with anyone I'm speaking to about kind of the main things that you'd just want a bit of someone to show you how to do with your eye makeup. I think we've all got those things. And quite a few times what's come up is that eyeliner can just be a bit of a ball ache. Yes, it can, 100%. Now, I always say with eyeliner that I feel like it's never not scary. Like, you always think, oh my gosh, is this going to be even? Am I going to be able to get the wings the same? All these things always come into your head. So I feel like we all have to accept that just that fear is never going anywhere. But if you are especially just struggling with your eyeliner, or you just want a softer finish that isn't necessarily a jet black line or a really firm flick, this little shadow technique I'm going to do is super handy. I fished out as well my favourite eyeshadow of all time. Sometimes I look at my videos and things and think I often pick, what's to hand or maybe something new that I'm giving a go and I want to show you. But sometimes I can forget to just show you the absolute classics that I've loved and used for years. So I'm going to use MAC eyeshadow in Antiqued. It's my favourite eyeshadow ever. Number of reasons. I find it makes everything pop. It's a lovely coppery brown. So it makes blue eyes pop, green, brown, any colour. But also it's just so classic and kind of sultry and lovely. And it's lovely on every single complexion. So like, it's one that if I was looking at someone thinking, I just want to do something really classic and lovely on you, Antiqued just works for everyone. And I don't think there's many things that you can say that about, but this shadow is one of them. Okay, base is on, happy with that. I'm going to do a real mixture of creams and powders today, which I always say, make sure you don't mix them, but I'm going to do it in an order that makes sense. So I'm going to start with all my powders. I'm going to go in with a little bit of loose powder here. This is my mum's. I forgot to leave any out for myself, and then dipped into her little stash by the door. So I'm just going to powder, in particular the centre of my face, but I am going to go all over with this because I'm going to use a powder bronzer around the edges. And if you put your powder directly onto that cream, it might be prone to kind of clumping a little bit, which I don't want. And then I'm going to use a nice kind of marbled bronzer. Now, a little thing that I've been meaning to say, at the top of this video, there's an arrow. It'll have like the title and then a little arrow next to it. And if you click that, I'll list all the products there. So you can click up and see exactly what I've used. And sometimes if I haven't mentioned the product name, it's not that I'm purposefully trying to be elusive. It's just that, like, for example, this bronzer step, I'm using this particular Hourglass bronzer that I really like. But whatever bronzer you have at home, it will do the same job. So I'm not trying to be difficult. I just don't want ever for you to feel like I'm saying buy this one particular thing and it's going to do the job, because I'm sure you've got a lovely bronzer that you can already use. So that's why at certain points I don't go on too much. However, the likes of that Antiqued eyeshadow, that is a specific colour that I'm saying does a specific thing, so I've ended up going on about that loads. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm going on now loads. I'm going in with a little cream blush, and what I'm going to do is just take these two fingers and apply it to my fingers and then pat it on. Now, I tried this on a brush the other day and it's just not quite strong enough on a soft brush. So to really get this lovely peachy colour out, I'm going in with my hands. And I forgot to leave a tissue by my working station. So I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of going to smush that into my hands and a little bit on my pyjama bottoms, and we'll all say no more about it. Okay, now shadow wise, what I'm going to do, oh, I haven't put my phone on airplane mode, this will be interesting. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to take some excess powder actually and just powder my lids before I do another thing, because that will just help anything to seal into place and prevent anything running away on me. I've used that same, you can really see actually, I've used that same brush that I've just done my bronzer with. So again, I think there's another little makeup thing there that we'll say no more about, but that's fine, it's buffed out, there wasn't loads of product on there, we'll be fine. What I'm going to do, these are, I'm not sure if you know this, but you can make your own MAC palette. So you literally go in and you can do it with blushes, eyeshadows, whatever you want. These are a few of my MAC shadows. This one here is antiqued, so it's a really kind of burnt, coppery, lovely brown. And I'm going to take it, this is Ruby Hammer's eye brush, which is really handy because you've got all of these different heads and you can just pick and choose which kind of one you want to use. I'm glad I've got this to hand because I find that lots of people use an angled brush like this for liner, which can be really handy. But if you're struggling or you're just beginning or want something softer, go for a pencil shape like that, nice and smudgy. So, pencil shape, and what I'm going to do, I thought there was a mirror in this, but there isn't, so I'll do a bit of a rejig here. I'm literally going to line the outer corner of that lid in the same way that I would take a liner. And I'm going to gently buff that along the lash line. Now, the lovely thing about doing this is that you don't get the same harsh line as you would from a pencil or a pen or anything like that. You can kick it out as much as you want. You can soften those edges so that when you're looking at me here, that's Cher texting me. When you're looking at me here, and now the phone's wobbling, we'll get there in the end, you just see the flick. So you can't tell whether it's liner or shadow or what we've done it with. And I'm just putting that all the way in, nice and soft. And I'm going to actually deepen some of that brown. And then I'm going to match it up on both sides. Now, once you're confident with that brown, then if you want to, you can go in with a little bit of pencil just next to those lashes or just in those corners. And again, if you don't want that kind of pencil look, we can do it with a deeper brown eyeshadow. And I just think when you start your flick like this, you're giving yourself a bit of freedom as to how sharp it looks. Because here, I can flick this out nice and soft. You can't really see any beginnings or ends. And I have just thrown that on like you can see. And the good thing with it being a shadow, if you need to tidy anything up, just smush it away, just smush it back in. And now we're going to take the control. Do we want it a bit deeper? Do we want it a bit firmer? In my case, I think I do. I'm going to go in with a brown rather than a black, which I think you can see how much I like that brown because it is really near the end of its life. And I'm literally going to tickle a little bit of definition just in those outer corners. This one's from Pixi. And again, coming back to my earlier point, I will tell you that that specifically is from Pixi, because Pixi liners are that bit creamier than other people's, and they're really good for going on nice and quickly, for staying nice and pigmented, and for buffing out really well. I'm going in with that same brush and just buffing that into the shadow so that we've got that shape and definition, and it's just that bit more seamless. Now, that's more than enough for me. I'm gonna add a little bit to my brows, just a nice bit of pencil. I've promised myself I'm gonna grow these out again, so I haven't been touching them. And I know that can be quite a frustrating process. But you know what, we're only at home, aren't we? So, well, those of us that are at home. I know some people are out and caring. I'm really feeling very lucky to have spoken to lots of people in my messages over the last few weeks that are in different situations, whether they're caring for someone at home, whether they're working in a home or a hospital or a nurse into the district. There are so many different people I've spoken to, and it's been really lovely getting to hear everyone's different experiences of this. And actually, do you know what has been absolutely just blown my mind lovely? I've had a few messages of people sending me, like, let's say I've done a video and they've done their eyeshadow for the first time in ages, or nailed a technique that they maybe weren't getting right before. I cannot tell you how lovely that is. Like, it just is the nicest thing to open. Like, I'm sat in the living room at the moment in my pyjama bottoms, talking into my own phone. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to forget that there's someone sitting and enjoying this with me. So just thank you so much if you've sent me a message recently. Honestly, it just has been absolutely lovely. It's really lovely to connect, isn't it? Now, going in with a bit of mascara. As you can see, absolutely loads came off there. So I might just move swiftly on. That would have actually been lovely with a brown mascara as well, but I haven't got one to hand. But the main thing I wanted you to take away from that, and you'll see it now once I've got the mascara on, you can't tell whether that's shadow or a liner or what it is, but you've got that lovely liner finish, but it was all just with a bit of shadow. So get a nice pointy brush, get a colour that you like. One thing I would say as well, that brown that I used is quite shimmery. So if you're struggling, go in with your shimmers. They tend to be a little bit easier to blend than your matte shades. They tend to go on that little bit softer. Now, I'd laid out a red lip for myself. Yeah, go on. Okay, I'm going to go in with a red liner first. Why not? I've got a minute and a half. And then I'm going to do the top. I'm just going to fill that in a little bit more to check that they look even. And a little tip from me, if you've got asymmetric lips, which I have, just draw them on where you want them rather than following the line of your lip. Made them a bit uneven now, haven't I? Never mind. I can tidy it up afterwards. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of MAC Mangrove. This was a little limited Christmas one a few years ago. That went straight onto my teeth. Anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed and I'll speak to you soon.